There's a bunch of wrenches. All right, wrenches are pretty simple. We have an open wrench here, and you tell it's open because just that, it's open on each end. All right, here's a box wrench or closed wrench, and it's closed on each end. Here's a combination wrench, which has both open and box or closed. Here's the same thing. This is a combination wrench here, and this combination wrench has open and closed. But if I look at the two combination wrenches side by side, I see that this one has more points on the inside than this one. This one has 12 points. This one has 6 points. The 6-point wrench is the better wrench to use because there's less chance of damaging a fastener. And you really don't want to mess up your fasteners when you're working on stuff. Down here, I've got a line wrench or flare wrench. And our flare wrenches here are very much like our 6 points, except they're open. And they're open so that I can get that around a brake line or a fuel line or whatever kind of line it is. And I can get onto the fitting on that line. Now here is a combination wrench, but it's short. If I compare this one to this one, it's pretty obvious there's a difference in that length. This is nice if I have a tight area that I'm working in. This ratcheting box wrench right here is even better for tight areas that I'm working in. That's 12 point, but it ratchets. And then finally, we've got adjustable wrenches, which I would recommend you try not to use unless you absolutely have to. Now, our open wrenches are not as good as our closed or box wrenches because these jaws, when we put them on a fastener and we start applying force, will spread open. And as they spread, then the chances of that wrench slipping on the fastener gets pretty high. These don't spread. So these are much better to work with when you're dealing especially with tight fasteners. But this is our best because it's 6 point. So not only does it not spread, but I have more surface area on the flank or the shoulder of the bolt to engage. So this is the least likely to damage a fastener. So if you're dealing with a really tight fastener, you want to get a 6 point on there. Okay, now they're all pretty simple to use. Let's start with our basic combination wrench. So here I've got my combination wrench. Here's a fastener. I can put the box on it to turn. I can put the jaws of the open around it to turn. Same thing. Open, box, pretty simple here. This one is going to ratchet. I don't have to take the wrench off the fastener while I'm turning it, like I do here. If I rotated this over and ran into something here, I'd have to take it back off, rotate it, back off. And of course, this guy here is going to be the most likely to do damage because if I close this down so that it fits around that fastener, as I'm turning it, it's going to want to spread those jaws. And those jaws, as they spread, it's going to twist on that fastener and damage it. So you don't want to use that adjustable wrench and open it up or close it down on your fastener unless it's kind of your last resort. If you've got a roadside emergency toolbox, that might belong in there. But for the most part, when we're working on cars, you don't want to use that. This right here is a fitting on a piece of steel line, copper steel line. And I'm going to take this line wrench, put it around the line, and then slide the wrench down over the fitting. And then once it's engaged, I can turn the fitting. These fittings are relatively soft and easy to damage, So you always want to use a line wrench, even though you might be able to find that you've got a combination wrench that fits it. Use the line wrench. So that's a brief introduction to wrenches, and there's not a lot of magic there. Just know what you're talking about, and have a lot of fun using them.